So hello fellow Earthlings, this is Earthling 6455463728, and by now I'm sure we've all seen these type of videos. The videos where somebody opens a particular product of food and they show you all of these worms, or they'll show you that they dissolved sugar in water, and there was some kind of substance at the bottom of the glass or container of sugar. Or they opened a bottle of water and this slush, this weird slimy thing came out of it. I'm looking for other examples that I can think of, but all of these things usually have something to do with chemistry or physics, and our lack of understanding of what that entails. For example, someone sent me a video, or everybody has been sent, and I'm sure many people have sent forward these videos, of someone trying to, I can't remember the exact details, but it would be somebody trying to dissolve a particular substance in one thing, and then using another surprising substance, maybe a food substance, and it readily dissolves. And like I said, I don't remember the details of it, but to me it wasn't really anything surprising or amazing or revolting. It was just a question of, like, for example, water and oil, they don't mix. So if you have a particular substance or something that can't dissolve in a water-based solvent like water, and you use something like alcohol or alcohol-based and it dissolves, or you use something that is like organically based like oil and it does dissolve, it's not amazing. That's something that you can learn in a basic chemistry class that many people don't take, unfortunately. Or for example, there was a bottle of water, and of course the person shooting the video made sure to say, this is the brand of water that we got, and when you open it, this is what comes out. And as it turns out, that's a physical property of water. It's something called, I might be mixing it up, supercritical water. For example, you can take a bottle of water and you can put it in the freezer and it won't freeze, or you can get it at a point where it hasn't frozen yet, and when you take it out or you open it, it instantly turns into this kind of a mush. And if you pour it out and you play with it with your finger, you might feel that, whoa, this is not really ice. I know what ice is like. Yeah, but you probably didn't have the opportunity to play with supercritical water. And by that I mean it's lower than the freezing point of water, but because it's in a container, it's not at atmospheric pressure, it doesn't liquefy. It's like the same reason why you can skate on ice, because when you use a very thin blade and you have that as a skate on your foot and you are pressing down on the ice, the pressure that the ice is encountering is so high that it turns to water. But as your skate moves from one point to the next, the ice that it was pressing on is no longer under that pressure, so it freezes back. So you are basically gliding on a thin layer of water. So as your skate goes onto a particular area, that part of the ice is going to melt, and as your skate passes over it, it freezes back up. That's how skating works. That's why people have to use this narrow blade. And I remember, so for example, to get back to the water that somebody might have in an unopened bottle in their freezer, it's not going to freeze because of the specific pressure inside of the bottle of water. Once you open it up, then it suddenly freezes because it's not under that particular pressure anymore. And then when the crystals have no time to grow, so as a result, they form a mush and not this hard block of ice. And if you force it out of the bottle, then you're gonna be encountering a strange kind of ice that the crystals are not interconnected, very minuscule crystals of ice. And you would think, oh my God, this is weird. This product that I got from this particular bottled water company, it's weird. Oh my God. No, it's just that you've done something that you don't normally do. And you thought that there's something wrong with water because you don't know enough physics or chemistry, and you have to show this on the internet. Normally this would be things that kids would do, and they would say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And because of not having a camera phone, these things would never come out. But instead of that, since we all have cameras, anything that's weird, even if we don't understand it and it's completely normal, we can put that on any social media platform that we choose. And we give the impression to the world that, oh, this product, something's wrong with this, something's wrong with that. No. Take a bottle of Dasani, take a bottle of Evian, take a bottle of whatever you want, and put it in the same kind of conditions, and you'll see that a similar thing happens. Or for example, somebody passed me a video of, I think it was brown sugar. So they put this brown sugar in a glass and they stirred it up, and they kept pouring out the dissolved sugar. And at the bottom of the glass, they were like, okay, well, this thing here is sugar, and this other part, there's a clear residue or whatever that was at the bottom of the sugar, of the container. And they're like, I don't know what this is. Somebody has to explain this to me. And one of my relatives, he used to basically, any lumps that he would find in the brown sugar, he would throw it out. And, I moved to another place, and I realized, wait a minute, this is the same thing that happens with brown sugar everywhere. But my relative had heard a long time ago that the lumps of sugar were because of people spitting into the sugar in the sugar factory. And my idea was, that's a lot of spit. Do these people have nothing else to do but spit into the sugar? And from buying the sugar from a completely different manufacturer in a completely different place, I realized white sugar doesn't clump. Brown sugar clumps. Probably has something to do with the molasses that is still in the sugar that makes it brown. And that's not weird. That's just how it is. But if you don't know enough about, in general, and there's no way to know everything about all of these topics, about all of these different foods, even food additives. When we look on, and I'm not saying that each of these different ingredients that are in food are necessarily a good thing, but we look at the food package and we see monosodium, blah, da, 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 or, well, I'm thinking MSG, and we see this and we see that, and we see lecithin, and we're like, oh my God, I just want simple, plain, like milk, sugar, and what was the other thing? Cream, something like that. In Breyer's ice cream, they're like, you better be able to identify, each of these things. It should be something simple, not something complicated. Yeah, well, milk is actually pretty complicated. If you decided that you were breaking down milk, you would see stuff like, you would see that there are a whole bunch of different proteins in milk, like casein, like lactose, Like, if you broke down the chemical names for cream, well, it's fats really, but I'm sure those fats have different names. All of the products that we take for granted, oh, this is just milk, this is just cream, this is just cheese, they have a lot of different chemicals in them. They just don't break them down. And for us to see what's in them, milk is not just one thing. There is no chemical called milk. There's no chemical called cream. There is no chemical straight that's like, sugar. Sugar is normally sucrose and fructose mixed together, unless it's high fructose corn syrup. But then again, there it is. It says it in the name. It's high fructose corn syrup. And everything that we eat is full of chemicals. When when a company is making a particular product, and let's say they're trying to imitate what we would call a natural product, they're going to have to list all of the things that are in there if it's not straight out of an orange or an apple or something like that. But it might be the very same chemicals that we would find in an orange or an apple. But they just have to name it this time because it's not straight out of an orange or an apple. And it's so just crazy that we think we know, gotcha, we figured this out. This is the reason why there's so many cancers in the world. It's not because there are more people who live longer, and as a result, cancer is a disease of old age. So there's more cancer because there are more people living longer. It's not that. It's because of something in the food. It's that in the food. You know what's in the food? Chemicals. Because there's always been chemicals in every food. You just don't know what chemicals they are, and you call it apple, banana, rice. You call it, sugar, milk, cream. You call it beans. But they're full of chemicals. Nobody just ever listed out all the names for you. Otherwise, you'd probably be just as shocked. I don't think that there's much that we can do because there's just so much stuff that people, so many chemicals and so many different ways that they can react and different foods. But we probably can overhaul the educational system and maybe waste less time on certain things that don't matter and teach people things that actually do matter, like real physics and chemistry and maybe some real, I don't know, but we probably can do a better job, and we probably can do it that's not based on a hard and fast, this is what we're studying now. That's when you lose people, because what they're really interested in, they can't find out when they're interested in it. You just force it down their throats at the apportioned time. So, but anyway, guys, wish me lucks. LUCSS. So that's like or unlike. You can comment, subscribe, and or share. And of course, it's not preferred, but you can do nothing. Peace.